Well, Kash, here we are for another episode of the Pixel Shack.
Hello, good to be back.
It's been quite a while actually since we've done that. I think we open every show the line. It's been quite a while, or we'll be doing these more regularly.
Yeah, this is more of a casual thing. It shouldn't be taken seriously.
Yeah, because it's just us two tonight, so it's just a
Fair enough
session.
That's fine with me. I've got the night off from family duty, so I'm all yours.
Excellent, great. Well, I suppose while it's been quite a while since we've done one of these, we've had quite a bit go on in the time since. Primarily, we've had Gamescom in Cologne happen.
Yeah.
Not the Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, as I initially thought.
Which, I don't think the TGS is actually that far off.
No, I'm sure it's in the next couple of months.
Yeah, definitely. Isn't it? I'm sure it's the last one of the year before you kind of head into the winter retail-focused months.
The last major one, yeah. There's all kind of mini ones such as Eurogamer that I gives a shit about, but yeah.
Yeah, Eurogamer gets a real hard time. But never mind. Like Eurogamer, you never hear about on kind of mainstream news outlets.
Yeah, it's strange.
But never mind. So plenty's happened. So I suppose we'll best stop getting to it, really.
Yeah.
No, we've been sitting for quite a while before we start recording, just chit-chatting.
Should have recorded that, really.
I know, really. We've had two shows by now. Yeah, Gamescom kind of brought with it quite a bit of news. Sony, we're both... although I'm quite recently on this bandwagon, we're both Sony men.
Yep.
Obviously, I bought the PS4 launch. I don't even think I've touched my Xbox 360 in 9 months. Which,
gosh,
I've certainly not bought anything for it.
Definitely jump ship.
Definitely jump ship. I'm done with it. Microsoft have spurned me too much. I was actually seriously considering just getting rid of it the other day. Because if it's sat there for 9 months, when am I ever going to pick it back up?
Yeah, I suppose if you've got all your library of games on the new console now, and there's very little to go back to. I suppose there's only GTA 5, but that's going to be defunct shortly as well.
Yeah, I've actually traded that in as well.
All right, there you go.
In preparation for the nice shiny new version, obviously, because I was really wondering, because the only thing I'm kind of keeping it for is because I've still got all the Halo games for it, and I've got all the Mass Effect trilogy for it. But I was thinking I can pick up the Mass Effect trilogy on PC for probably like £5 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, just wait for the winter sale that'll come up there.
Yeah, and if I really wanted to play Halo, I could always just jump ship to an Xbox One in the future and buy the Master Chief Collection.
Yep, I'm sure that'd be worth it.
Actually, since the last time we did this, I don't think the Master Chief Collection had been officially confirmed. I can't remember actually off the top of my head, but I tell you what, man, that's a fucking good package. Yeah,
it looks. I've only ever played the original, and that was on PC actually. I never had an Xbox, so it's still a pretty good deal. You get kind of all those games. It's not just 1, 2, and 3. You're getting the. Is it ODST and Reach as well?
No, you don't get. They're the only two that are included. You get 1, 2, 3, and 4. With 1 pretty much being a repackaged version of the anniversary edition they did on the Xbox 360 a few years ago, and 2 being Halo 2 Anniversary, which is a completely new kind of HD retexture, HD remake.
Okay.
And then you've got Halo 3 and 4 running at just basically 60 frames per second and 1080p. But they're 360 games, so they're not really doing anything to them as such.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think one of the things that's pretty impressive about the thing is each of the Halo games themselves are actually getting their native multiplayer brought over with them. So unlike, like I said before, Halo 1 Anniversary came out on the Xbox 360 a few years ago, it didn't have the Halo Combat Evolved multiplayer. It used Halo Reach multiplayer with some remade maps. That ain't the case for this. They're getting the full multiplayer experience from each one. And the big focus is going to be on Halo 2 multiplayer as well.
All right,
which pretty much solely popularized Xbox Live.
Yeah. There was a lot of love for that. I remember back in the day when it was kind of released and people were playing it and everything. So
yeah,
good.
It was like the first major console online shooter. I think it seems to be the one that really kind of took off in a big way.
All right, brilliant.
It certainly wasn't the first console online shooter, but it was the first one that really, really kind of hammered home and made online play on the console popular.
Yeah, I suppose that's when kind of your Call of Duties and your multiplayer online started kind of, vamping up because they saw the potential in Halo. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think the only thing that really tried to answer it on the PlayStation was Killzone, but there wasn't just there just wasn't network capability on the PS2.
No, it was very
Not many people had the network add-on, and even few people had the capability to stick it on a broadband via cable. So
I remember pestering my mum and dad to get broadband when it was still like new, just so I could play Xbox Live. And oh god, the early days of Xbox Live are so good. Like it's just a hive. It's just a hive of scum and villainy now compared to what it used to be back in the days. I think it's kind of like that all over the place because the PS4, the PSN on the PS4 is a bit like that as well, where nobody really speaks to each other. And I'm almost joining in on this antisocial behaviour now because if somebody does speak, I just feel like telling them to shut the fuck up.
You see, cast the outsider. Just ignore it completely.
Everyone says stop talking. And it never used to be like that back in the early days, back in my day. But I remember having some really bizarre experiences like early on. Not only did you actually start talking to people and like making friends with people, you could like make friends with close-knit groups to the point where you could actually start organising like custom games. I remember playing Project Gotham 2 Racing.
Oh yeah.
Online. That was like the first big online racer on the Xbox, the original Xbox. And I remember getting like a group of friends, like about 8 of us, to fill out the kind of the slots on the thing. And we used to play a game called Cat and Mouse where you would split it into pairs, so you'd have like 4 teams of 2.
Yep.
And one of you would be in one of the top tier supercars, and one of you would be in a Mini, and you'd colour coordinate to match. And basically what you had to do is the Minis had to race, so the 4 Minis had to race, and their bigger brother supercar had to protect them against the other supercars.
Fucking hell.
And it was just amazing. It was like the best type of race you could ever do. And I'm trying to think else. Oh yeah, I had a really fucking bizarre experience where I was playing. I think it was primarily a PC game, but I had the Xbox version of it. It was Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy. Do you remember them games?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember Jedi Academy more than Jedi Outcast. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jedi Academy was kind of like an expansion pack, wasn't it?
I think so.
Certainly kind of like a spin-off or a follow-up. It wasn't like a fully fledged sequel, but I had that on the Xbox. I keep saying Xbox 360, just the original Xbox.
The Xbox One.
Yeah, what do you call it now? Just the first Xbox or just the Xbox? I don't know. But I remember playing on a game of that, and I remember just talking to this guy, and we started talking. It was like, oh, so where you from? And he's like, oh, I'm from the northeast of England. And I was like, oh, so am I. And basically, this line of questioning went down, and it turned out that it was a guy who was in the year below me at school.
Fuck you know.
And it was so fucking bizarre. Because of all the fucking people in the world.
You go to school and then just give each other a silent nod and stuff.
Yeah, we never spoke. But it was just fucking crazy. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, they were the good old days of Xbox Live, and I've completely forgotten what my point was. I can't remember how we actually got.
I think we're talking about. I think we're talking about the old days of Xbox Live and how it's different to what it was now.
Oh, sorry, I remember we were talking about the Master Chief Collection and how Halo 2 popularised.
Yep, there we go.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think the main point for this whole segment was that the Master Chief Collection is a fucking good package. I mean, you're getting 4 really good shoot 'em ups that have kind of kept the Xbox brand afloat. Largely, I still maintain, whether this is true or not, in my world it is, that the original Halo pretty much kept the original Xbox alive for about 2 years before anything else started coming out on it.
Yeah, I think it was a very strong release for the original Xbox. And it was really well kind of made, decent games. So, yeah, absolutely.
I remember getting an original Xbox about a year. Was it the second Christmas or it was basically when it had the first big price cut. And
all right.
My dad got me one for Christmas because I think he was a bit stuck for what to get me, to be honest. And he knew I wanted to play Halo, and my computer at the time wasn't powerful enough to play the PC version. So I think he basically just thought, oh, fuck it, get him an Xbox. It's reasonably cheap, and he'll use it. And I got Halo with that, and I got the marvellous game that was Midtown Madness 3. Do you remember that series?
I don't.
Never mind, then you're not missing out. But yeah, I remember getting Halo, and I don't think I bought another game for my Xbox for 9 months.
Bloody hell.
And I just remember playing that, and friends would come round, and we'd just play the co-op or the
split screen.
And it just lasted so long. And I was thinking, Christ, if I'm an enthusiast, I buy a shit ton of games. for a shit ton of platforms. And if I didn't buy anything other than like the titles that came with it, then
it just means that you're just hammering that.
Yeah, but it must have kept it afloat just through that. But never mind. So yeah, the Master Chief Collection, not really persuading me to get an Xbox One because I've literally got all those games sitting behind me on a shelf. But certainly something I'd pick up if I do eventually relent and get one. And you never say never. I think I probably did say never when it was first announced. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with the Master Chief Collection. One thing that kind of annoys me though is that I can't help but feel that Halo kind of got a little bit forgotten about because it wasn't the big boy in the last generation anymore. Call of Duty overtook it.
Yeah, I think in terms of sheer multiplayer, but I think in terms of Xbox kind of exclusive games, it's probably on par with Gears. I think because Gears was definitely the big kind of franchise of last generation.
Yeah, I love Gears of War, man. It's great. I think Gears of War though, it almost segregated itself from mass appeal because of how violent it was.
Yeah.
You can't have kids playing it. Whereas Halo, despite it being kind of a 15, it's not particularly violent other than general violence.
Yeah, if you don't mind blue or purple blood, it's fine.
Yeah. So, but Master Chief Collection certainly good. But I've really lost track of what the fuck we're talking about now. Gamescom. Right,
Should we move on? Yeah, Gamescom.
Yeah, Microsoft, announced a few things. It seems to be going better for Microsoft on the whole. But it's, at the same time, it's kind of paling in comparison to how successful Sony are doing. Also, how successful Sony are with their PlayStation 4.
They've been playing catch-up for a while, and I think they've been playing catch-up for a while yet before they can even get to the same position that they can say that, we're on par with Sony now.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting one because Sony came out at Gamescom and basically said that since it launched in November, it's been 9 months. We've actually sold 10 million PlayStation 4s.
That's fucking ridiculous.
It's crazy, and let's face it. While the PlayStation 4 is certainly the cheaper, or was the cheaper, and I think they're pretty much on par now.
Yep.
It's by no means a cheap machine. It's still something you generally have to kind of save up for, or at least plan your finances
for. It's a couple of months of not going out before you can get that shit.
Exactly. So to sell 10 million, and what's crazy as well, not only have they sold 10 million, I think generally it's agreed that they're selling 3-to-1 consoles in favour of the PS4 against the Xbox One.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I only know one person out of kind of my legion of friends that has an Xbox One, and I
don't know anybody. I certainly know of people on Facebook, people I don't fucking really know, but they're on Facebook. They're not. They're just virtual people to me. I know, when the Xbox One came out, there was a lot of people posing with it, and I thought, you fucking mugs. But I don't know anybody who I speak to in face-to-face contact or anything like that who actually owns one, and that's fucking crazy.
That's great. That's almost like fucking last generation with the PS3.
Yeah, it is, and you're right. It's kind of a similar situation where Sony really rested on their laurels and released something that was just basically a slightly bloated, undercooked mess. Yeah, and that's kind of what the Xbox One started off as. To be fair, Microsoft are taking steps, but they are constantly clawing back. That initial bad patch of PR and that bad impression, it's going to damage them.
I know there's no such thing as bad publicity, but fuck me, if there's ever a case against it, it's that it was
a mess.
It completely, absolutely, just obliterated any chat. The console war was over before it even started. And it's only because they started to rescind on their promises, such as the DRM and the kind of Connect, it's not a necessity anymore. It's the price range as well. The pricing just totally threw them out. And Sony just cleverly kind of staying back and just letting Xbox dig their own grave and, fucking dancing on it afterwards.
Yeah. You're right. It's crazy how bad it was. It's mad.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. Honestly, it's fucking ridiculous.
I've never seen such quite a venomous, outspoken backlash against something.
Yeah,
that just literally changes the direction they actually start to take with it.
almost straight away as well, because if you think how quickly it started, and then how they were like, no, it's DRM, this is how we designed it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And then,
by the way, we can remove it now that you.
We can remove it, actually, yeah, and we can... Also, the Kinect is not mandatory, yeah, it works perfectly fine without the Kinect.
Which I think's a bit bullshit, to be honest, because if the Kinect was ever going to gain traction, it needed to be a mandatory, everyone has it thing.
I agree.
Now it's going to be a paperweight.
If they were going to kind of get some really big developer and app support for it, it needed to be mandatory. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now it's just going to be a gimmick. It's just going to be
like it was last time.
You may as well call it the fucking Dance Central arcade or something, man.
Hey, don't knock Dance Central. That was one of the better Kinect games. Which kind of probably...
My point exactly, mate.
Exactly. In fact, the best Kinect game I ever played was... it wasn't a Kinect game. The best game that used Kinect was Mass Effect 3, and it let you use voice commands to control your squad.
Right, okay.
And I was thinking...
I think you're going to be sarcastic and say Sonic Riders. I was like,
oh, God, it was awful. I did have that for a while. I got rid of it very quickly.
It was so homoerotic as well. Like, to kind of power up, you had to hold your friend's hand and shit. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh, really? I only played it by myself. Like, for
no, if
3
you had
minutes.
2 people, right, you could kind of... if I'm standing in front of you and we do like a double high five in the air,
yeah,
you have to do that shit, and you kind of link hands, and on screen they kind of link hands and move faster, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Jesus, all right. I'm kind of glad I didn't give that one the time of day then. Oh, Kinect. Jesus Christ. Fuck, I'm really not with it today. What were we talking about? 10 million PlayStation 4 sold.
Kinect game.
Kinect game. Yeah, the best Kinect game I played was Mass Effect 3. But you could basically issue orders to your squad by shouting the name and then shouting what you wanted them to do, and that was really cool because it worked well. But like I was sitting there thinking, why do I need a Kinect for this? Why can't I just use a microphone or a headset or something? There's no reason other than Microsoft have paid them to hamstring other versions.
I can't see how hardware comes into it at all. It's all software.
That kind of sums up the Kinect when the best game is pretty much making use of its decent mic. But never mind.
Never mind.
10 million PlayStation 4 sold. It's a fucking crazy number. There was a story broke not long ago that Microsoft have lost somewhere around 400 million on the Xbox One already. I'm not sure if that... I think that was primarily debunked to be not quite as high, but... It does seem
a hell of a lot, but I can imagine them losing quite a bit anyway. Even if it is kind of 400 or 40 or even 4 million, I imagine they are losing. They can't be making a profit right now. No way. I know Sony are like only recently just about broken even.
Yeah, which is pretty fucking impressive for something that's been out nearly a year. I'll tell you what, a bit more anecdotal evidence to back the kind of strength of the PlayStation 4 at the moment. Well, first of all, my friends list on the PS4 is pretty much entirely made up of people I actually know. I've actually spoken to, and then maybe a few friends of friends who I've played a lot with on the Xbox 360. I think there's one guy I don't know, and it was a German guy. Me and Simon played Battlefield 4 with, and he was really good. We played really well together, so we added him. Never played with him again since.
Battlefield bro, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Battlefield bro. He brought German efficiency to the team. So that's he's the strangest person. So I've only got 10 people or so on my friends list. But they all own PS4s. Well, I think you're in fact the only person who doesn't own a PS4 that's on my friends list.
Yeah, thanks for rubbing it in.
But you're still a Sony loyalist.
I am. I'll get there. Just give me a bit of time.
But I was talking to a guy at my office today, and he said he turned around looking really sad. He was like, "My last Xbox friend has now moved over to PlayStation 4."
Oh,
I just mocked him for being left alone. He said he had about 8 friends, who he knows in real life, who all played Xbox 360 together, and now all of them have jacked it in for the PS4. And he's left in isolation. And even he said, now that I've got nobody to play with...
I'm still going to PS4, yeah.
No, he basically said, I've cancelled my gold subscription to Xbox Live. So even those who are kind of hanging on aren't necessarily actively playing or paying, at least.
Yeah. It's a sad state of affairs.
It's not good. But I think he is starting to come around, and maybe he might end up getting a PS4.
Yeah, I imagine that'd be inevitable.
Yeah, well, there's another friend in our team who also has a PlayStation 4, and we play together, and we both sit there like goading him, saying, "You got to come over."
Just constantly poking him.
Yeah, and he's always saying, "Oh man, I really wish I had a Blu-ray player." And I was
PS4?
I was like, "Well, buy PS4 then." And he goes, "Oh, but the rest, like, they're expensive." I was like, "Well, you know." And he was talking today that he wants to, like, if he buys a movie, he wants to buy. He doesn't want to buy DVDs anymore because he wants something like them to be future proof. And it's like, "Oh, well, like a Blu-ray," and he's like, "Yeah, like a Blu-ray." So buy a PS4 then.
He's answering his own questions. He just doesn't want to admit that PS4 is the salvation to his prayers.
Yeah, so I think he'll come over eventually, but it's just quite funny. Like, it's again anecdotal, but and like the other friend I've got at the office. She's got loads of friends who are on the PS4 as well. So it's just like, but like I probably know or have kind of tenuous links to about 40 people who own a PS4.
Bloody hell.
Whereas I don't know anybody who has an Xbox One, or if they do, they're very quiet about it, or they own both.
It's like a dirty secret.
It's like a fetish or something. You just keep it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
away from the kids.
Yeah, which is ironic because they love Kinect. Microsoft keep pushing Kinect for kids. I've never met one kid who enjoyed.
Who
Kinect.
fucking enjoys Kinect? It's always like drunk people playing Dance Central or some shit like that.
Oh god.
Yeah, I haven't come across a kid that's like, yeah, I really like Kinect. No,
what kids like? Fucking Minecraft. That's what kids like.
Kids fucking love Minecraft. It's ridiculous. I've got
like
loads of
crack for them.
You know what? Minecraft's kind of just eluded me. I've never really got into it. I don't know if I'm just not got a creative side or I just really don't kind of mix well with it. I mean, that's fair enough. But every fucking cousin and friend, like brother, sister, who's under the age of like 16 has and plays Minecraft. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's like crack to them. It's it's ridiculous, man. And I gotta admit, like, I used to play Minecraft on the PC quite a lot when it was back in like mid-beta stages. I bought like early access to it, and there was even a point where I had a multiplayer server up and running, and there was maybe like 8 of us used to go on it and build crazy shit. And the thing is, because we were all friends, none of us would like abuse it, so we all just had admin powers and would just build outrageous shit by spawning in all the materials.
Oh, nice.
So it wasn't really about survival. We just used to build crazy fucking projects. Like, we used to build whole towns and then like move like 1,000 miles away and then link the two with railways.
Oh god.
And I mean, it took forever and it was fucking pointless looking back on it. I wish I'd spent time actually learning something useful. But it was good fun, you know. I remember one of the guys on the server actually made a fully functional wooden roller coaster.
That sounds amazing.
It's just
it just sounds amazing, but it's like, again, it's something that's just never ever kind of, I don't know what else, it's just never connected with me. Yeah.
I remember me and another guy trying to crash the server once, like for a laugh, see how much it could take.
Yeah.
So what we did is we dug like a huge underground like tunnel, and then we spawned in dynamite just to fill the entire thing. It was like a 20-mile tunnel filled with dynamite, and then we just lit the fucker and ran.
Did it crash?
It did crash.
Yeah.
There was just like explosions everywhere. Like, it looked like the world was coming to an end. and then all of a sudden, like, you would freeze, and then it would say like you got basically kicked back to the login screen, and you'd have to basically recycle you'd have to power cycle the server to get it back up and running.
Oh my god!
And when it was amazing when you went back on, because it obviously got
destroyed.
Yeah, it obviously got quite far before it finally just gave up, and it was just like scars ripped open in the world. It was amazing.
It's like World of Warcraft Cataclysm or some shit.
It was like the Cataclysm. It was crazy, and you'd have like lava plumes and like water plumes all spilling into these huge craters. It was fucking. It was really funny. But it was, I used to love doing stuff shit like that, but I'm not creative enough or dedicated enough to play it now, and it's coming out on Vita and PS4 soon.
Yep.
August was the kind of unofficial release date, but it looks like it's going to slip. I'll probably end up buying it again for my Vita, because I think that would be a kind of cool game to have out and about.
Yeah, I suppose I might have to pick you up. We'll have to reignite your love for destroying shit.
I don't know if you'll be able to do it on the console versions because you'll not have keyboard commands or anything.
True.
But I'm sure we'll find a way.
We'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I'm not sure it would take quite as much to destroy a Vita as it would like a full server. But yeah, you're right. Minecraft is crack for kids, though. It's like all the kids love it. It's huge, but yeah, it's maybe I think me and you may be a little bit old for it.
Yeah, it's probably not our game anymore.
No, we just like stick to our. I don't know what do we play? I don't know, like
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to think Assassin's Creed like the old franchise now, but
yep. That's it.
Speaking. Sorry. No, I was going to say.
Speaking of which, we've had a new information on Assassin's Creed Rogue and a trailer for it as well. Yeah,
so I think last time we did the show, we talked maybe, I don't know if Unity was announced. I can't remember when we did last of the show. It was a while ago, but we now have Assassin's Creed Unity, which is going to be set during the French Revolution on next-gen consoles. Looks very nice, but not to miss a trick. Ubisoft are milking it again with a last-gen release.
Proverbial cash cap. Yep.
As you say, is Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is, for all intents and purposes, it sounds like a expansion pack to Black Flag.
Yeah, it sounds very similar to how Brotherhood and Revelation was to 2, as this is to kind of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, or 4, if you want to call it.
Well, I would say in terms of themes and gameplay, maybe, like it's all, again, you're going to be sailing around the ship and doing all sorts of stuff, but instead of the Caribbean, it's going to be the northern coast, up into the Arctic Circle.
Yeah, there's going to be kind of ice breaking and stuff like that, and you're going to be in America as well. You're going to kind of meet characters from Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag as well, it sounds interesting if you kind of...
It does, as much as I didn't really like 3 and it really did shake my faith in the series, it'd be nice if they could tie it together into something that was actually a lot better as a game. And Black Flag, I really did like Black Flag. It won me back over to the series. Obviously, I'm very fickle. But Rogue's, I think the most interesting thing about Rogue, not only is it more of the good stuff from Black Flag, which is the ships and the pirate and life and all that, you're actually not an assassin. You play a Templar, an assassin who has been converted to the Templar Order.
Yep.
And he's Irish, isn't he?
Cormac, yeah. Irish name, heavily Irish name. It's like calling him Mr. Smith and he's from England or something. But it's an Irish descent guy. I didn't know he was kind of an assassin and then went to a Templar. I thought he'd be like... just a straight-up Templar, just picking up shit from assassins as he went along.
I don't think so. I think in the trailer it mentions that he used to be an assassin, which is why he's got all the gear.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he'll kind of come back to the light side, or the side of light.
I would hope not. I'd actually prefer to play as the Templars at this point.
He's just so far gone, it doesn't matter.
Just to be a bastard to people for a change. Like the best bits of Black Flag, like the most of Black Flag, you're not actually an assassin. You're actually just a pirate who's stolen an assassin's role. It's like only towards the back end of the game do you even become involved in them, and you never truly, unless I'm misremembering this, you never really ultimately say, right now I'm an assassin now. You just kind of work with them, just have tenuous links to them. Which I thought was mint because I thought it was great because you could just be this like morally questionable pirate the rest of the time, which is great fun. So yeah, Rogue. I hope it's going to be good. I'll probably not play this one.
Fair enough. I mean, we've got Unity to kind of tide you over as well if you've got your fix. I think they said Rogue is like the goodbye letter for all the last gen kind of Assassin's Creed fans.
Which is, it should be, let's face it. I mean, obviously last year was pretty much all cross-gen titles. This year you start to see kind of second-rate things. You start to see cross-gen titles phase out for more kind of next-gen titles. And if they're on last-gen, you start to see kind of maybe kind of B-tier productions. Rogue to me isn't a proper sequel. I'm sure it's still going to be like 40 hours long because they always stuff it full of side quests and shit. But it very much feels like a kind of a palette swap of Black Flag with a new kind of story. And let's face it, it's been a while since Assassin's Creed stories have been particularly great.
Yeah, I find it unusual that they're bringing out 2 essentially AAA Assassin's Creed games around the same time. Like, there's not going to be any kind of respite between them.
Well, let's face it. What's the worst that happens? Somebody buys both of them. It's like they're not really competing with each other, because either you buy Rogue and it's going to be full price and you're going to play it on your last gen consoles, or you're going to buy Unity and pay even more for it and play it on your next gen consoles.
Yeah.
And like some people who love the Assassin's Creed franchise will buy both. I mean, one thing that's even come about is the PC version of Unity. I mean, PC versions, like PC games to me should be about £35 at most. They've always been cheaper. £30, £35. £35 is quite expensive for a PC game, I think.
Yeah, I think it is, because you don't get the same capability. You can't trade it in or anything like you would with.
Well, that's it.
You can't even lend it to your friends in some instances. And if it's got like a CD key or if it's linked to Steam or something, it's yours. That's it. I think that's why it's cheaper in price. It seems quite fair. Yeah,
I mean that's fine. But the Assassin's Creed Unity PC version is actually already retailing at £50 on you as a Uplay. And I know it's meant to be like a next gen game, but that shouldn't fly for PC. I can buy Unity on PS4 or Xbox One and trade it in after I finished it, and I will, because I never keep Assassin's Creed games. They've not got enough in them to keep them around forever, especially when one's going to be out next year as well.
Exactly. You can almost guarantee it.
Exactly. We even get 2 this year, but Rogue does look quite good, and maybe it is nice that the people who haven't made the jump to next gen are still getting one if I want one. Will you be getting Rogue?
I doubt it. Like I said, I've still got a library to play. I don't think I'll be getting any major new game for the PS3 now. I'll be saving my money getting the PS4 and then getting kind of the back library to play through. So yeah. I can't see myself getting it on the PS3 personally.
Here's a question then: like, are you buying or are you purchasing PS4 games in your instant game collection?
Yep.
PS Plus.
Yep.
You're gonna have so many games to play when it first
I'm making sure I'm doing that shit, definitely.
Yeah, I've been doing it with the PS3, and I rarely have any intention to go back. Me and a friend started playing through Dead Space 3. They never had, and I have, and it's a really good co-op experience.
We'll have to play it, because I started playing it for about 2 hours. I was like, can't be arsed. I'd rather have something to play with, and I played online with some another German guy actually. We had a lot of fun. He had to go have dinner, and that was the end of that shit.
Oh man, it's a really good experience because it changes the game up. It's good because you guys you play different characters who have different experience. There's bits where there's kind of submissions that are only available when you play co-op, and they focus around the second player, Carver, is it? The kind of the Marine guy, and it plays on the fact that Isaac Clarke's kind of done all this shit before, and it's old hat to him. But Carver, it's all new, so he's pretty shaken, and he starts having hallucinations about things, dark things from his past. But you're going through levels, and I played it through on the Xbox 360 when it was released with Simon, and we've been walking through this really dank, dark industrial complex, the typical Dead Space shit. And Simon would be like, "Ben, this is really fucked up. Why is there party decorations everywhere?" And I was like, "The fuck are you talking about? It just looks like everywhere else." Oh man, this is.
He's having a fucking hallucination. Oh shit! Here we go.
And it took us ages. We were talking about this for ages, and it took us ages to kind of click that. It was showing us completely different things, and it was just a really good use of the co-op thing.
Co-op engine, I've heard some really good things, and I've heard you talk about it before. So I'd love to experience it, but I don't know what's happened.
It got a lot of stick for no, it's not scary anymore, and I would argue that's not true. It's still fucking jumpy in places because things are in your face and really, really trying to kill you. But it's got some really clever uses of co-op, and it's got some really exciting bits as well. There's a really cool bit where you're crashing a plane onto a planet, and you've kind of got to cooperatively work together to land it successfully. There's some really, really cool bits. So I'm kind of started that with a friend who's never played it before, but I bought I downloaded Crisis 3 as well.
Yeah, I've got that. Yet. I've played Crisis 2. I really like Crisis 2, actually.
I did as well, actually. Again, that's something that gets a lot of stick because it wasn't as freeform or as open as the original. But I thought it was for what it was. It was a more focused
Yeah,
game.
like how it's kind of the urban jungle rather than the normal jungle. This one is just a jungle. um, yeah, I really like to. I like the kind of setting environments. I like how kind of cities and buildings would just kind of collapse and shit in real time, and it looked really well done and everything. I enjoyed it. I had some good times. 3, I've played about 2-3 hours. It's kind of underwhelming at the moment, but so I'm hoping it kind of kicks in.
The trouble with it is, I really want to just play the PC version of 3 because
It's gonna be far superior.
it looks a lot better, yeah. And you can get it really, really cheap.
Yeah.
It's the type of game that if it got like an HD release on next gen, I'd seriously consider buying it.
All right. Okay.
In fact, I mean, I'd love to make like, hey, why not release the fucking Crysis trilogy? It's pretty much a given that the CryEngine scales that high.
Well, this is the other thing.
And beyond.
This is the other thing that's going on with Crytek at the moment. They're in a bit of trouble, aren't they? Or they were.
Yeah. They're bankrupt, aren't they? I'm not going to pretend I have any facts in front of me. That's actually one thing that slipped by me. Actually, I forgot about that. It happened a few weeks ago. But
yeah, as far as I know, the Homefront was kind of stopped. There was no development going on, and Crytek needed some money to get going again. And I think they've recently had some kind of money income flow through. And
they no longer have Homefront.
Yeah, they sold Homefront as a result of it, though. Yeah,
I know there was like loads of rumours that they hadn't actually paid employees for several months. And then
Eurogamer ran with things like they hadn't paid, and they had sources from inside Crytek saying, shit's going down, nobody's doing anything, we're just not doing anything, no developments coming through because we're not getting paid and stuff.
It's crazy, man. It very much feels like a developer who overextended far too quickly without any kind of clear goals. It really feels like they should have maybe focused on catering for their high-end PC fans, rather than trying to go after the Call of Duty money,
which it just never would have happened.
And I mean, maybe that's unfair, but I can't help but feel that, like, especially if you look at Crysis 2 and 3 multiplayer, maybe not 3 because that kind of went off and branched into its own beast again, but Crysis 2 multiplayer very much feels like Call of Duty with superpowers. Yeah,
it had kill streaks and stuff like that, and here and there. It was fun, but it was fun for like maybe an hour or so. It never really kind of sucked me back in.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. So, it's sad. But I mean, they've also had things like Rise, which received kind of mediocre, lukewarm reviews and didn't really sell a huge amount. Isn't the new hit franchise I think Microsoft were hoping it was going to be. It's even being ported to PC now, which kind of says to me that Microsoft know it hasn't got legs on Xbox only, so that they want to get a bit more cash out of it. Yep. Maybe that's an unfair assumption, but I don't think it is.
I think evidence points to that. I think Microsoft are struggling to gain ground and just play catch-up, as we were saying before, and that's kind of led into the other big announcement that happened at the Games conference, or the game show, rather.
Yeah.
And that was the exclusivity deal with Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix, and Tomb Raider.
Yeah, right, yeah. This is a bit of a bombshell in that Rise of the Tomb Raider, which, got to say, when it was announced at E3, got very excited about it.
Oh, yeah, it looked good. I like the whole kind of sitting down in a psychiatrist's chair and running away from a bear kind of shit.
Yeah, I love the Tomb Raider reboot.
Yeah, it was really well done. I mean, I hadn't been much of a Tomb Raider man myself. I think I played one on the original PlayStation. I hadn't done any on the PS2. I don't know if there was one on the PS3 before the reboot. I don't think so.
There probably was. There was probably a few. I mean, like, Tomb Raider's a strange franchise. Like, in its glory days, which were kind of like Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, 4 to a lesser degree. And I think it kind of went Tomb Raider 1 to 3, and then there was The Last Revelation, which kind of was the last decent one, and even that wasn't great. And then you had Chronicles, which was kind of... I never played that, actually, but I heard it was okay.
Yeah, then there's Legend as well, I think.
Legend came quite a bit later, because after the PS1 era, it kind of fell into the wilderness a little bit. They spent years developing Angel of Darkness, which was meant to be their edgy, gritty reboot that came out on the PS2, and it was a piece of shit when it came out. It was awful. It was not good, and that really, really buried Lara for a lot of years. And after that... the original developers, it was a Core Design or Eidos, they kind of lost the license to it. It went to Crystal Dynamics, and they kind of soft rebooted the series with Tomb Raider Legend.
Yep.
Which was better. But it wasn't really the glory days again. They followed that up with Tomb Raider Anniversary, which was a remake of the original using the Legend engine, and they made a fully fledged sequel, which was after that called Tomb Raider Underworld, which
I forgot about that.
I never played actually. As much as I enjoy Legend, Legend actually ends on a cliffhanger. And I think I was a little bit bitter that they decided to do an anniversary reboot rather than finish the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So by the time the full-fledged sequel came out, I really wasn't interested anymore, so I missed out on that. But I heard that was decent as well. But again, it's something that was decent, not particularly great. So I think they went back to the drawing board and spent years making this Tomb Raider reboot. And oh man, I love the Tomb Raider reboot.
It's good. It's really well done. Absolutely brilliant.
I think I've played through it like 3 times.
Oh wow! I've only done the once, but I've had really good memories. I really enjoyed it.
I think I played it 3 times on 3 different platforms.
Wow.
I had it on. I bought it when it came out on Xbox 360. I think I bought it for like 50 pence on a Steam sale or something. Like, one of the Steam sales, it was every Tomb Raider game for £11, including the new reboot.
Jesus!
And I was like, for £11, I'd buy the reboot alone. Because it was still reasonably new as well, and I bought that and played through it again, and then I bought the definitive edition on the
PS4.
The PS4 because it was fuck all out on the PS4 at that time, and I just wanted a decent game to play. So I loved it. So now that Microsoft have come out at Gamescom and said, oh, by the way, Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to be exclusive to Xbox 360 and Xbox One.
Yep,
for holiday 2015.
I don't think they've got the reception that they were banking on.
No, it's pissed me off, quite frankly.
It's pissed many people off, so.
It has, yeah. And it's almost slightly hypocritical of me because there's plenty of other games that are exclusives. And this isn't the first game that... I mean, one of the arguments I saw bandied around, and I do... This is kind of where I'm coming from myself, is that exclusives are all right, but this is an exclusive to a game that was multi-platform, but not only multi-platform, but cross-generational as well. Like, it shouldn't then just be snatched away from everybody.
Yeah.
For the sake of a money grab or like a marketing grab by Microsoft.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, like I was saying before, Microsoft are struggling to kind of play catch-up with the PS4, trying to find some kind of franchise that they can work with, because Tomb Raider, Halo 5's not going to be out for a while yet. Rise didn't do it.
The thing is, Halo 5 is probably going to be out at the same time as Rise of the Tomb Raider. Which is what I don't get. Like, if they needed...
I think it's more a case of they need something to compare and go toe-to-toe with Uncharted.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head. Did you see there's a joke Twitter account for... It's basically a joke version of Cars. One of the...
Yeah.
And he was like... I think he tweeted something when this was announced. It was like, the only thing Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to have in common with Uncharted is the fact that it ain't going to hit the charts, or like it isn't going to. It's going to be Uncharted. It's
going to be Uncharted, yeah, yeah, I saw that.
And he's got. I mean, as much as that's like obviously just a stupid joke and a stupid jab at Microsoft. What I don't get is how much money they must have offered Square Enix, Squeenix as they're called. Is that what the nickname is?
I think that's just the term when you're not held in the highest regard. They call it Squeenix, yeah.
Squeenix.
When Square Enix do something good, like they announce Kingdom Hearts 3, or they make a good Final Fantasy game, it's like Square Enix. But when they do shit like this, it's like Squeenix.
Right, so Squeenix. That's how I'm feeling about them right now.
Yep.
How much money they must have been offered, I don't know, because because I remember distinctly that they reported that the original Tomb Raider had not met expectations with regards to sales figures, despite being profitable. I think they basically thought it would be such a big hit that it would actually pay for several projects that they had going.
It's a deal that's meant to, in both each other's eyes, help each other out. It's helping Xbox out because they've got something decent to go to Uncharted, and it's going to help Square Enix out because they just haven't been making the hits that they have been doing in the past. Like you said, Tomb Raider reboot hadn't sold as well. Final Fantasy 13 was, I mean, the last game was just kind of, really shockingly bad.
In the case of Tomb Raider, while it might not have met their targets, it seems very much a case of their targets were just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It seems like bad business prediction, like bad business forecasting,
yeah.
Quite frankly. Like, it made more money than it cost. And alright, it didn't pay for fucking sleeping dogs as well, but was that ever a realistic expectation? I mean,
Yeah,
Jesus
you
Christ.
can't expect something like that. You just got to look at it and say, right, this has got a really good start to a franchise. Let's not fuck it up, and that'll be.
The thing I don't get is that they're coming out and complaining it didn't make enough money, and then they go and put it on the console that has the smallest by such a margin.
This is what I mean. Is in a business sense, it doesn't make sense, but in a fucking I need money sense, it's perfect because you throw as much money at Square Enix as they can stay afloat for a bit longer.
Yeah, it's like short-term thinking, really, isn't it?
It is.
The really ridiculous thing is, do you think that anybody will say, "Oh, I can only play Rise of the Tomb Raider on Xbox One. I'll buy an Xbox One now"? It's not.
I can't see anyone saying that at all.
It doesn't feel like
it's worth
console seller.
Especially since we know it's not a total exclusive, it's just timed. People are going to be like, right, I'll wait till it comes on PC, or I'll wait till it comes on PS4 and get
exactly.
it.
And you know what, if anything, it's kind of pissed me off. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day, we were talking about it, and I said, you know what, this actually makes me want to, we'll come into the time bit in a bit, but it says even if this does come out on PS4 eventually, this just makes me want to wait, even when it comes out on PS4, to pick it up second hand.
Yeah.
Square Enix get none of my money. It just pisses me off because I really loved the first one. I bought it 3 times to support them and show I like that franchise, and they're just shafting me for short-term fucking goals.
Yep.
And I don't like that.
It's not for the fans. It's not for anyone but themselves. And for them to say that's not true is complete rubbish.
Yeah, it's completely monetary driven. There can't be any benefit to gamers.
No.
It's
put whatever spin on it you want. It's just not true. It's totally for kind of Square Enix and Xbox's benefit.
Yeah, and again, I'm all right with exclusives, but the fact that this was announced only a few months ago, and at no point was it advertised upon announcement that it was an exclusive. It sounds very much like something that was decided after the fact. Yep,
much decided way afterwards.
So it just seems underhanded. I don't like it. And again, I'm fine with exclusives. Like, I would never, exclusives are why you buy one console.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what distinguishes. I mean, if you think about it, Nintendo is purely exclusives. It's all
Nintendo exclusives.
It's all first party, isn't it? I mean, I don't think I'm asking for Mario to be on other consoles, but it's about thinking about what the exclusives represent. Now, Mario is very much Nintendo. It's always going to be Nintendo, but Lara Croft is, it's Tomb Raider franchise is on all kind of consoles. It's never been really one trick pony.
She's a fucking PlayStation.
Yeah, that's how she started off life. I mean, there's other franchises that have done, like Final Fantasy started on Nintendo and then they jumped ship to PlayStation.
To be fair, they jumped ship because Nintendo refused to give them the technology they needed to evolve the franchise.
Yeah.
They jumped ship when Nintendo stuck with cartridges over discs.
It's bad news. It's not good. I can't see people being happy about it.
Yeah, and like Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, he came out and said, "Look, this isn't an attack on anybody. It's just business." I was thinking, yeah, but it's still shitty business.
It is.
You can't really blame the guys at Xbox for doing this at the same time. But if anybody, Square Enix is the one who have acted questionably. It just seems fucking strange. Maybe one of the reasons Square Enix did it is because they don't want to compete with Uncharted. They're going to be releasing at the same time.
Yeah, I suppose they want like a guarantee to say, okay, at least our overheads are kind of taken care of. We don't need to sell as much to kind of break even or, stop people from not getting paid or whatever.
Yeah.
I can understand that, but then you'd think, so then that's just bad business, isn't it? That's just not really thinking about your target audience, not thinking about planning about your game and who it's going to be marketing for. It's just bad business. It's not thinking about anyone but themselves.
Yeah, it's not great. But one thing you touched on before is that this has also been the kind of the long-term message of this has been fucking all over the shop. Like when this was first broken, Microsoft basically said, well, the way Microsoft worded it was basically like, oh yeah, we're getting it's an exclusive, we're getting it, and nobody else is. And then they started wording it like it's an exclusive for holiday 2015.
Yep.
And then it started to kind of emerge that actually, no, this is just a timed exclusivity.
It's a timed exclusive, yep.
So the chances are that it's pretty much all but confirmed in black and white that it's coming to PlayStation 4 and PC, but not till 2016. And again, as I said before, I'm not fucking buying this new. I'm going to wait second-hand and buy it then. If they want to fuck me, I'll fuck them back.
I'll fuck them back, yeah, absolutely.
I was a good customer to them the first time round. And,
well, this is it. It's just about, loyalty works both ways.
Exactly. And Microsoft know that my loyalty is very fickle if they fuck me over. But that's the thing. I'm generally a good customer to have. I spend a lot of money, and so if I'm not happy, I'll fucking go elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but I'm a bit pissed off with that. That was slightly upsetting. That whole escapade.
Sorry to hear about that.
The thing is, Rise of the Tomb Raider was kind of one of the games I was quietly looking forward to. Like, it wasn't something I was ever going to really hype up.
No, but it's the first one's a decent game. It's not decent by any means. I had fun with it. I definitely want to play the sequel. But when you do a dick move like this, it's like, well, maybe I don't now.
Well, that's it. I really like what they did with Lara Croft as a character. She actually was a character for once.
Yeah, she had personality. She had a background. She had reason. She was human. She didn't seem like this invincible Angelina Jolie ass-kicking machine. It was like she was just a girl essentially, just learning her way through the world and everything.
Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, that did upset me. I've not been kind of so angry or upset about a bit of news like this for quite some time. So hey, that's an achievement in itself, I suppose.
Sorry, mate.
But yeah, never mind. Trying to think. Talking about what's coming out on what. It was revealed that Metal Gear Solid 5 is now coming to PC.
Yep, and it's almost like a complete opposite of what the thought process was behind making Tomb Raider exclusive. It's like saying, well, actually, it's going to benefit more people if we stick it on Steam, because Steam is kind of probably the dominant platform on PC.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, and it's I suppose it's Kojima's or Konami's way of saying, this is us kind of showing our love for the gamers. It's coming. It's not just on the Xbox and the PS4. It's coming on the PC as well. I think it's a brilliant move. I think I'm really happy for it. Yeah,
I think it's great. One thing that the Metal Gear Solid series is really sporadic with who it likes to come out for anyway. So this is pretty much a franchise that doesn't really have any set platform as such. Metal Gear Solid 4 was a PS3 exclusive, still is to this day. Metal Gear Solid 1 came out on both PS1 and PC.
Yep.
Sons of Liberty came out on Xbox and PS2.
What happened with Sons of Liberty is it came out on the PS2 and then they released it as Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance.
That's right.
That actually came on PC as well. That came on the PC, Xbox, and PS2.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Snake Eater, PS3.
Was that only a PS3 game?
I'm pretty sure. I'm just trying to think now if I've seen it on PC. I don't think it came on PC. And then, as you say, you had your Vita and your PSP version, Portable Ops and Peace Walker. And now we've got Ground Zeroes and Metal Gear Solid 5 coming on PC.
Yeah, so you're right. It's good. More people get to play it. More people will probably get to enjoy the batshit crazy story that's about to have. And it's looking good. And I think Metal Gear Solid 5 is pretty much confirmed to be a pretty nice technical beast anyway. It's going to run 60 frames per second and 1080p on all next-gen consoles and all the rest of it. So I think we might see more of this happening actually now that the next-gen consoles have got x86 architecture, because it means that porting to PC is all that much easier.
Yep.
So, and it's nice that Japanese companies are starting to embrace PC a little bit more.
It's almost like PlayStation 4 is the default platform for the Japanese developer, but it's you're right. It's good to see that it's kind of branching out. I hope it's a sign of things to come. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a PC and I like to play on PC games, but I kind of like all things equally, really. Some PC's better for some things, but I like the ease of console for others. But it's nice that you have that choice as well. That's cool. So 5. Did you see the new trailer with all the cardboard boxes with various things painted on them?
Yeah. I saw you could use the boxes in different ways now, and I saw he had like a PlayStation 4 box on his head. I was like, what the fuck is that all about and stuff? Yeah, it's interesting. It'd be good. I can't wait to play it. I'm absolutely loving that.
You played Ground Zeroes, didn't you?
Yeah. None of that on Ground Zeroes, in case you ask.
Is Ground Zeroes worth playing?
For me, yeah, but I've been like, you got to understand, I'm like a lifelong fan of Metal Gear Solid, so I'm always going to say yeah.
The thing is, I kind of am as well.
I'd say get it then. I'd say get it. You won't be disappointed with the game at all. Yeah, okay.
It's actually on the PS4 summer sale at the moment for £12.
Get it. I might even get it myself when I get the PS4.
You might, well, shit, yeah, buy it now. Well, it's cheap.
Yeah. It's I'm tempted to. I absolutely get it, 100%.
Right, okay, I might.
Have you got an iPad or a tablet?
I have, yes.
Get the app for it as well.
Oh, sorry, can you link them up together, can you?
You come up, yeah.
That's cool.
I won't go into it too much, but you can link the two up. It's good. It works really well. And I think they're going to carry over to the main game, which will be really good.
See, that's why I'm kind of holding off for Ground Zeroes, because I've got a feeling that I'll be able to pick up like a special edition of Peace Walker, not Peace Walker. What's the new one called?
Phantom Pain.
Phantom Pain, that's right. I've got a feeling I'll be able to buy like a Metal Gear Solid 5 complete edition or something.
Yeah.
But knowing like Kojima, I'll probably have to wait a year. And it'll be like fucking Subsistence or Substance or whatever.
Yeah, before it comes out.
So I don't really know, but I'd say one thing I missed out on before when we were talking about it, actually, that I wanted to talk about is the Sony also revealed in their little press conference that they've got release dates, Western release dates for the PlayStation TV, formerly the Vita TV.
Yep.
Now, the Vita TV is basically like a little set-top box. I mean, it's the size of like a wallet or a credit card or something. It's really small.
Yeah, it's tiny. It reminds me a lot of like Chromecast, but it's like a bigger version of it. You kind of stick it to a TV and off you go.
And it's basically a little box that allows you to play limited Vita games and also do remote play to a PS4, which like a Vita can itself, as well as have apps like Netflix and all the other PlayStation-centric apps. So that's pretty cool. But it launched quite a while ago in Japan as the Vita TV, now coming to the West, and it's going to cost... I don't know what it's going to cost in the UK, actually, but it's coming out in the UK on the 14th of November, coming out in the US a month early on the 14th of October. It's going to cost $99 in America and €99 in Europe. Now, neither of those really apply to us because we use sterling. And if we get the US price point, it's going to be about £60. And if we get the Euro price point, it's going to be about £80.
Yep.
Now, at either of those price points, would you consider buying one of these?
If I did have a Vita, I probably would get it. Now, because I have a Vita, I think it's pretty much my needs are taken care of because it plays like your Vita games via download. It has your remote connectivity for your PS4. So if you've got like, as many people do, a house with kind of multiple HD TVs, you can remote play on your PS4. That is kind of not necessary for me anymore now. So I probably can't see myself getting it, but stranger things have happened.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I've got my PS4 upstairs in my little playroom / office. And I could quite happily buy one of these and stick it downstairs in the living room, and then when I've got the kind of downstairs family TV room to myself, I could use all the nice fancy sound bar and everything that's in there to play PS4 games. And if we got this kind of £50-60 price point similar to US, I'd be kind of tempted to do that. But if it's closer to £80, it's not a huge jump, but it's enough to make me second guess it, like really second guess it.
Yeah, I agree. I think £60 would be brilliant. I think £60 would be a very good price for it.
So
they never do localize things like that.
No, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it came out for like £100 over here.
It wouldn't sell. I could probably say it wouldn't sell.
It's Cameron's Britain. All the tax and everything. But
fuck you, Cameron.
We're getting all very political now.
Not like
so I'll be interested to see how that does, but I'll be keeping an eye on it to see exactly what price it's coming out at, because when one of the things that could be quite good for it as well is when PlayStation Now becomes widespread.
Yep.
You can use it on that device as well.
Yep,
Could be interesting.
That could be a way of utilizing it further. Absolutely, I think that'd be very good to see.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the hell is going to go on with it. But it's
early days. Early days, yeah. I mean, just knowing about what it can do in the Japanese market is a decent piece of kit. Absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be quite good. It'd be particularly interesting when you. I mean, PlayStation Now there's been a lot of shit about that being talked about lately about how it's really expensive for what you get and all the rest of it. But at the moment, because it's in beta still, it seems to be primarily focusing on PS3 games.
Yep.
Now, what I'd be interested in is actually having just all PlayStation platforms available on it, because it's all run off emulation and server farms.
Yep. So in theory, it should be that hard to pull off.
Yeah, I mean, you can already download. Well, in Britain, you can do this. I don't think it's quite as easy in America due to licensing laws, but in Britain, there's a huge selection of PS1 games and PSP games available to download on the Vita. And it'd be awesome to kind of extend that to the to PlayStation Now, but more importantly, expand that PS2 library, which isn't available anywhere other than the original console.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. I'd go back and play some PS2 games.
I would as well. I'd love to go back and. I mean, I heard on the grapevine that they would remaster them, add trophy support as well.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be really good. That'd definitely be worth it, I think.
I'm trying to think what PS2 games I would go back and play, because
God, there's so many. Honestly, PS2 was the pinnacle of gaming for me.
It was crazy how many games. Do you remember a game called Shadow of Rome? And it was kind of a game of two
halves. It rings a bell.
Was where you played as a gladiator in the arena, and the other one you played as a little kid sneaking around in really bad stealth sections.
Yeah. It rings a bell, does that? Yeah.
I mean, the stealth bits were a bit shit, but the arena fighting, I just remember, was incredibly violent and very, very fun. So I'd play a shit like that again. Just little things that I don't really I have kind of vague memories of, just to see what they were like. Let's see how well or how badly they held up. I'd say one game I'd love to go back and play is Rockstar's The Warriors.
Oh, fucking love that game. I had it on the PSP as well, actually. I downloaded it. Oh, so good.
Oh, really? Is it on the Vita, is it?
No, not on the PSP. I think I'm pretty sure it was on the PSP, yeah. They kind of redid it, and it was fun. But yeah, on the PS2 it was so much fun. Is it the same game on the PSP, or is it a cut down shitty version? I honestly can't remember. I think it was, for intents and purposes, the same game, just in really shitty graphic version.
Oh man, I'm tempted to get that. I love that game so much. I remember getting the game and I have not actually seen the film. Yeah,
I still haven't seen the film to this day, but I know pretty much what happens just through the freaking game.
Well, I would hope so. The game, the game covered the book, but used the film's kind of visuals
setting, visual.
Because the film only takes place during and after the meeting, the big meeting.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like the last act of the game, whereas the game, it basically revolves around them building the Warriors up and becoming a well-known gang well enough to get invited to the big meeting.
And then shit going on, yeah.
Yeah. So it covered a lot. And they had loads of... they had a few of the voice actors from the film do voice
actors. They did. They had the guy... I'm sure they had the guy...
Michael Beck, was it?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sure they had a few others as well, but... man, Rockstar did a class job. It was such a cool game.
Yeah, it was. Really good game.
You need to see the movie though, man. It's awesome.
I'll have to watch it. It's on Netflix by any chance?
It might be, actually. I'm not sure. Certainly, if it's not on our Netflix, it's probably on the American one.
Oh, well, that's a simple case of VPN. No problem.
Yeah. So what was it, Vita TV? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So yeah, Vita TV's coming up. Sorry, PlayStation TV's coming out soon. Just a few more things then, right? So, I mean, we talked quite a bit about this before we started recording, but I've been playing through The Last of Us Remastered the last few weeks, and it's the best-selling game on the PlayStation Network, and it's in the UK, it's top of the charts, has been for 2 or 3 weeks running now, and it's also managed to, the PS4 The Last of Us Remastered bundle is also the top-selling hardware in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's basically doing
Just doing exactly what it did on the PS3 all over again, which is brilliant news, fantastic news.
I wouldn't be surprised if it actually did more this time around, because you've got people like me double dipping, and then you've got all the Xbox 360 converts.
Yep.
Because I'm sure Sony came out not long ago and saying something like over half of PS4 owners never played The Last of Us or something.
Fuck you know. Poor bastard.
So, I know, it's like, life's all that little bit duller if you haven't played this game.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, I mean, The Last of Us is fucking hell, man. I love The Last of Us. It was great playing through it again. And especially with all the visual upgrades and the 60 frames per second and all the DLC. And such a good game. But what I mean, the success of it and the fact that it kind of has revitalized a classic game. It's kind of like the question is, will Sony be starting to look to remaster other games and bring it to the PS4?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think though of the last generation what had as much success as The Last of Us did, and there isn't much other than, and I'm sure it's probably all but announced as well, an Uncharted kind of redo.
Well, you know what? Despite having a PS3, I never played the Uncharted games. I just never got around to it, and I think I missed out on the first and second one by the time I'd got a PS3, and I think by then I was kind of like, I've missed the boat now. I don't mind. But shit, if they released an HD trilogy in time just prior to the fourth game, I'd be up for it. I'd definitely be up for it. Absolutely. Brilliant games. I think I lent number 2 after someone. I've never got it back, the prick. So it's my way of getting it back again. Of all of them, number 2 is my favourite. I love number 2. Yeah, I remember number 2. Number 1 was meant to be a decent action. It was. I suppose it was Naughty Dog's entrance into the foray of that kind of genre, because they hadn't really done stuff like that. No, Jack Daxter was their last game before.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? No, Jack X was the racing one.
Yep. And then this is kind of, it's dead serious, it's dead kind of human environment. It wasn't Crash Bandicoot or Jack and Daxter or anything. So
you actually make a point there. They always did cartoony games prior to.
So this is them trying to be taken seriously, and it did a good job. It wasn't, as you say, it was a good game. I have fond memories of the original Child, and then number 2 came out, and that was fucking amazing. And then number 3 came, and that was a decent game as well. And then we had the
thing is, I get the impression with number 3 is it suffered from the same thing as Gears of War 3 did, in that the second one perfected the formula so much that there wasn't a lot of room to grow with the third one. Yeah,
number 3 had something missing. It was a good game, but it didn't have the same impact as me and number 2 did. And I think you're right in that kind of comment.
Yeah. I always felt Gears of War suffered from the same thing. In that, number 3 had to throw in a few quirks and a few little kind of fun bits.
Yeah,
more interesting.
That didn't always work. Yeah,
but still fucking good games.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'd love it. But they basically Sony have come out and said, regardless of the success of The Last of Us, they're probably not going to do. Well, they're probably not looking to do many more, if any, at all.
I need an Uncharted remastered. Need it.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I'd really want. I don't think there's anything else that would warrant it.
No.
And the fact that Naughty Dog have obviously already shown they can port their engine to the PS4.
Yeah, exactly. I hope that was their way of saying, this is what we can do.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. But I think the fact that people are starting questioning what else is going to be re-released is the fact that Gamescom Sony also announced that both Journey and the Unfinished Swan are coming to PS4.
Yep. I never played Unfinished Swan. I played Journey.
Journey. I was going to ask, I don't really know anything about the Unfinished Swan.
It was... It's hard to describe. I remember it from trailers and stuff like that, but it's nothing like a Journey. It's hard to describe. So I'd say go and kind of look at trailers or maybe watch some gameplay vids. Okay,
now Journey seems to be kind of some kind of strange social experiment adventure thing.
Yeah, that's not bad to see it. I'm assuming you didn't play then with that kind of.
No, I never played it, but I've heard nothing but praise for it.
Journey is
interesting.
It was crazy. whatever happens, you'll get the best out of it by playing with someone else, and you probably always play with someone because it's just that good of a game, and it's just that kind of well known and well done. If there's a remake out for it, it's going to look even better. There's going to be more people playing it, and the kind of story and the themes behind it are really well done. I mean, it's all in a foreign language, if you will, or it's all in a foreign environment. There's no spoken word, there's no English word. It's all kind of in tones, like the characters you play speaking kind of musical tones and stuff. And everything you look at in terms of how you develop the story is all visual. It's all like writing and ancient kind of scriptures on the wall and stuff like that. And you go through all these different settings, environments. You go from a desert area to kind of a snowy, mountainous top area, and it's just really well done. I mean, I don't want to kind of spoil other bits and pieces because by going into it too much, but it's an incredible journey. Is probably the best way I can say it.
Is that where they got the name from?
Yep, more than likely.
I mean, yeah, I don't know much about the Unfair Swan. It just looks. I don't know really. It just looks odd. I'll have to watch some trailers from it. But Journey's something that I've been interested for a while. Never got around to playing it. I'm very happy to see that it's coming out on PS4. And you know, I mean, this brings an interesting point actually, because I mentioned this before we started recording, but sitting down the other day thinking about what games I'm going to be excited about. Most of the games I'm kind of looking forward to playing are things I've already played. Coming out like in remastered and special editions and all the rest of it. Like I've just had The Last of Us, and Diablo Ultimate Evil Edition is out this week. We've got the Grand Theft Auto 5 Next Gen release in October.
Yep.
In fact, the only game that I've kind of committed to buying that isn't a fucking remake or re-release is probably Destiny.
Yep. I think that's the only thing on the horizon that's looking remotely interesting at the moment.
Yeah, and other than that, you've got like the Assassin's Creed and stuff, which I can quite frankly hold on for. As much as Unity looks good, I'll probably either get it for or after Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's just typical kind of new generation blues. It's just
we've never really
else.
had this before though, where like last minute gems are getting ported over to the next.
Yeah, I suppose we didn't. But then again, we had like. Would you rather have that, or would you have like really shit games?
Well, you're right. I mean, as I say, I'm playing The Last of Us again. I mean, The Last of Us is a particularly special case, but playing that again, man, it was like so good. I didn't give a shit that I'd played it before. It was amazing. And it was, I think the fact that it was like over a year since I had played it anyway was just all the better.
Just makes up for it, yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. So I'm quite happy. And like things like Diablo, it's a game you play again and again anyway if you get into it. You know, it's repetitive by nature, so it's not too bad. And Grand Theft Auto 5 is something I only played through once, and again, it's probably going to be just under a year since I last played it. I don't think I've played that since early November, mid-November. So it comes out in November again. It's another year
sort
on.
of stuff, yep.
And hopefully by then we'll have heists.
Oh, I doubt it. I don't think we'll ever get heists. I'm resigned to kind of just defeat now. It's never going to happen. Even if they're announced as a feature like GTA 6, I'll not believe it. So, you know, you got to prove me wrong, Microsoft. Prove me wrong, Rockstar. Yep, absolutely.
It's pisses off because like prior to GTA 5's release, me and Simon were constantly going, Rockstar, man, they're the guys who know what they're doing. They don't fuck up.
Oh, no.
So I kind of blame myself. I jinxed it. So I'll never do that again.
Right, it's all your fault. Right now.
That's it. I'm the sole reason.
Official.
Heists don't exist. So, I mean, yeah, the only other real big news, unless you got something else.
Depends what your big news is.
Well, I'd say it's not big news at all, really. It's just interesting news because I'm an old Die-Hard fan. But where World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor's got an expansion pack release date.
Yeah, November 13th, I believe. And we had the cinematic as well.
Yeah, and Blizzard, they make some good cinematics, but I mean, we were both saying this one's kind of a little bit underwhelming in that it doesn't really show off a whole lot of spectacle.
No, it's pretty good in terms of lore, where it kind of is positioned and stuff, and how it changes everything.
You know, the thing is, as much as I like the idea of this expansion pack a lot better than fucking Mr. Pandaria,
yeah,
which literally got me to kind of finally say, right, I've had enough of Warcraft. This still feels like a weak expansion pack. It feels like an excuse. It feels like Blizzard have had a go at making some new characters, and they feel like the community hasn't taken to them. So they've said, right then, fuck it, we'll come up with some cockamamie story to bring the old ones back.
Yep.
And I don't really like that, to be honest.
It's like all the kind of original and the best, and how can we bring them back? They're all dead. Oh no, let's go back in time. And it's just the idea of, like, I think it's a Garrosh Hellscream, the main antagonist now, and how he managed to go back in time is just fucking ridiculous.
How does he manage it? Like, do you know?
I don't remember it word for word, but essentially he's like, he gets captured in Mr. Pandaria, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, he's the last boss of Mr. Pandaria.
Yeah,
he becomes War Chief of the Horde, and he gets corrupted. He uses the corpse of an old god to empower himself and create like a new horde that's going to like wipe everyone out. And you defeat him, and he's taken into custody, and he escaped from custody.
Yeah, he essentially has fucking Marty McFly on speed dial, just like a time traveling friend, and he just fucking goes back in time. It's pretty much that in a nutshell.
So does he just decide he wants to go back in time?
He's going back in time to like when the Horde was at its best, and he finds out someone can do it. So he's like, right, my mate, you're going to take me back in time. But see, the thing is, I don't understand about the time travel. When you're going through all the, the caverns of time in the previous DLCs, and you do the instances, and it's all like, oh, you have to follow it by the book, because any little change will affect the future. And it's like, this guy is just effectively rewritten the future right now. So how the fuck are you supposed to go back in time in the first place? It's just shit like that.
Yeah, time travel is always ridiculous. It loops back on itself so much. It's always a tricky thing. But it just feels like an excuse to bring back characters they want to rewrite and redo, and they feel like maybe wasted. And it's a shame because it cheapens their deaths and such in the past. And
It does.
God, it's a shame because I think with Burning Crusade was a good step in the right direction mechanically. I think they mishandled the story a little bit by killing Illidan off.
They just... I think they'd regretted the whole thing with Illidan, because they did say when Wrath of the Lich King came out, they didn't want to make Arthas just like another farmable boss, which is what Illidan was essentially.
Yeah, like Illidan did nothing other than like shout at you from afar and then die. And then like Wrath of the Lich King really stepped things up. Like the Lich King was a lot better. He was a lot more involved.
He was all involved. He'd pop up and beat the shit out of you. And I love Wrath of the Lich King.
Oh, so good.
I love Wrath of the Lich King. You had cinematics as well. You had like cutscenes that he never had that before.
And even had awesome missions where you played as Arthas Mental when he fought Illidan and such in the Frozen Throne. I thought those missions were amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wrath of the Lich King was great, man. And I thought they did a really good job. I thought they finally got like storyline down. And while like the raid content was a bit hitty-missy, generally I had a really good time with Wrath of the Lich King. I was never a hardcore raider, so like their spotty raid content never really bothered me because it was always fun for me because I could just hop in on a weekend and do a bit and then
hop in, hop out. Yep.
And so you still had like heroics and shit for the hardcore guys. So I thought they really started getting this shit together in Wrath of the Lich King. And then the Cataclysm, again, I thought like bringing Deathwing, he was like the other bad guy after the Lich King that I really wanted to see. So I was like, fuck, this is amazing. And then after that, I think they've lost the way a little bit.
Yeah, I think many people really like the Mr. Pandaria, but I think it's just all about your taste. I don't think it's my taste. I stopped after Cataclysm as well. I didn't really fancy going to Mr. Pandaria, although Blizzard... since I got my account back, finally, they've been mailing me every now and then saying, why don't you try it free for 10 days? And I'm like,
Well, to be fair, it was going for like £5, £7 at Christmas. So I actually bought Mr. Pandaria, and I've leveled up and done a lot of the quests and stuff, but I never could then like get back into raiding and like doing heroics and stuff. I just couldn't be arsed. I think I'm kind of over it a bit now. It's going to take something really special to get me into it again.
That time's gone now, yeah.
To be fair, Mr. Pandaria itself was a really nice zone. It looked really pretty. It was very different. The storylines were engaging. It's just after fighting like a 3-year war in the cold north and then coming back to the end of the world, going to China for a holiday didn't seem like much of a step up.
I like how you put that. I like that. I'll remember it.
So I kind of was like, you know what? I can't. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And again, this just feels like a bad fan fiction. Like Warlords of Draenor just feels like a
Yeah, I'm going to have to read up exactly how he goes back in time, but when I read it, I was like, this is just fucking...
You know, I think, oh god, because I do like Warcraft. I like Warcraft lore. I like the story in Warcraft. It's generally been quite good in the past. It's getting worse as it goes on. It's becoming like a soap opera, to be honest. But
Yep.
I'm sure that in Miss Pandaria, there's a guy, I can't remember what he's called, but he's like the last remaining black dragon after the cataclysm wipes them all out.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
Hey, there's some basically one of the content patches that was released was where basically you do missions for him and he'd give you like epic gear and shit. And apparently there's some debate on whether he's basically looking to create like strong races to fight against something or other, fight against evil or something. And he's maybe the one who has sent Garrosh back in time as a means of creating a strong horde which he can then manipulate and use.
Fucking hell.
But that's something I kind of read on some cliff notes, and it's been a long time since I've been really heavily involved in Warcraft lore, so I don't really know, to be honest. That's I might have just made that bullshit up, to be honest.
By the by, yeah.
But I mean, oh god, yeah, like even like the way the Wrath of the Lich King ended, you could easily have another expansion pack with the Scourge in it.
Oh yeah,
and that would maybe get me back.
I think the Burning Legion need to make a comeback because I mean,
well,
Kil'jaeden didn't die, did he? He's still about.
Kil'jaeden didn't die. Archimonde's dead, as far as demons can die. And of course, you've got the big bad guy, Sargeras, still.
Yeah, he's somewhere. Kind of somewhere about there. I think the final one would be all the Titans coming back and beat the shit out of everything and everyone.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Sargeras may even be the last boss of this expansion pack. And then you can have the Titans after him. Because let's face it, just because he's the main villain when Warcraft was a linear strategy game, doesn't mean he has to be now when everybody's a loot pinata.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, like one thing I thought that would have been a really cool expansion pack. I'm just spitballing ideas here. Is that you could go to Argus, which was the Draenei's home planet.
All right.
Or the Eredra home planet. So basically, I always envisage it as now that Kil'jaeden and Archimonde became like leaders of the Burning Legion. Like Argus could basically be like the Burning Legion HQ as such, and you could maybe have an expansion back where you try and invade it, and maybe the Titans come and help you out, and all sorts.
It'd be like the Final Fantasy, Blizzard. Submit to Blizzard, you never know.
I think that would be a really good way to end it, almost like an intergalactic war type thing. It would be. Fucking be crazy, and it would certainly be a step up from fucking Back to the Future and trips to
Kung Fu Panda,
like Pandaland, and oh god, yeah. So I think Blizzard are actually starting to run out of big bad guys because they've killed them off. Killed a lot of them off. I mean, they've killed the two best characters from Warcraft 3 off. Arthas is dead. Illidan's dead. Deathwing is the other villain I was really excited to see. He's now dead. The dragon aspects are all kind of depowered. Yep. Now we're down to 2 old gods left.
Yep. We killed them as well. I remember that.
It's Ajira, the Queen of the Nagas, still kicking about.
Oh yeah, Ajira. Fucking hell, man. You really know your stuff.
Oh god, yeah, I used to be heavily into it, and it never leaves you once you know it. What else have you got? I'm trying to think now. Well, you've got as you say, the Burning Legion. Yeah, and anything else to pull out the arse. So, but to be fair, I think I would like the stable of established villains. They've kind of killed a shit ton of them off.
They have.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Revenge of the Lich King expansion pack.
Oh my god. Please no.
Would you honestly think that would be
fucking merges with Illidan or some shit and just makes one super ultimate bad guy?
It's like Dragon Ball Z, isn't it? Just,
yeah.
I haven't even seen my final form.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did get a release, back on track, we did get a release date for Warlords of Draenor, 13th of November. But in kind of related news, Blizzard have announced that in the UK, and only in the UK, the subscription price for World of Warcraft is going up by a whole £1 a month.
Fuckers. That's a 10% increase, more than that even.
Yeah, it's actually more like 110% or something. No, that's a fucking bad math there.
Yeah. Hope not.
No, so yeah, sorry, it's not 110%. It's like, what, like 12% rise or something? I don't know. That's terrible math.
Yeah,
I'm
be about 12%. Yeah.
So yeah, so at the moment it's $8.99 for 30 days. Come the release of Warlords of the North, it's going up to a straight $9.99. So that's £10, £10 a month to go fucking on like some Roby fanfiction adventure.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's. I'm sure there's political and logistical reasons behind it, but it's fucking hell, man.
Well, it seems such a strange thing to happen, especially just in the UK. As you say, it's probably political. It's probably some tax that Blizzard have decided, we're no longer absorbing in our profits.
Yeah.
But it seems strange that Warcraft's now. I mean, it was confirmed the other day that it's its lowest subscription rate since Vanilla or something, the original.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since it's ever been as low as it is now. And subscription-based games are kind of dying out anyway.
Yeah, I love games. Marvel, it's not Marvel, sorry.
DC Online?
DC Online. We also had Star Wars, the Old Republic.
Yeah.
They all went free to play. Yeah, Guild Wars 2. Well, yeah, I suppose Guild Wars 2 just started from the bat, and so did the original Guild Wars. You just kind of pay for the game, and that was it.
Yeah, never had a subscription model. And what you're seeing now as well, especially with the kind of release of the next gen consoles, you're starting to see kind of 4 MMOs come out. So you've got like Destiny, which is kind of like a half MMO, half first person shooter crossover. You've got the Division coming out in the near future, which is kind of like an RPG stealth action game.
Yeah.
You've got these kind of things that are moving away from the traditional hotbar-based MMO to, more kind of action-heavy or more active.
It's an intertwining of genres, yeah.
I think we'll be seeing a lot of games that are like Destiny in the near future, where you kind of play on a flimsy MMO structure, but with some kind of other more focused, more action-orientated genre attached to it. Which, hell, I'm all for. I'm really burned out on hotkey MMOs. I tried to play Wildstar a few months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Wildstar's great. It looks really good. It's got a really good art style. It's got a good sense of humour. It's hard compared to most MMOs. It's challenging. For hardcore raiders, it's going to be a dream. But I couldn't get past level 20.
You just got sick of it.
I got to level 15, 18, and I would be like, you know what? I don't like this class. I'll start again. I don't like this race. I'll start again. I just don't like this game.
That's what it is, yeah.
I must have played on it 30 hours, and I just couldn't fucking bring myself. And you know what? I think that I'm irritated with myself because I think if I pushed forward a little bit more, I would have started getting into dungeons, and I maybe would have loved it. Because I love dungeons, when I'm start playing them,
dungeon content, and instances and stuff.
I really love teamwork and on an RPG, raiding and stuff. It's great. So I'm a bit upset with myself, and I've still got it. I can resub if I needed to try it out again, but it's I don't know if I ever will, because it's going to be a real push to get myself to do it. So, World of Warcraft's subscription going up. It seems strange because that kind of model seems to be dying out. It's no subscription base ever. It seemed a strange decision, especially when, at this point, surely Blizzard have made so much money off this, they can surely afford to lose out an extra pound.
It's not even that. I mean, look at stuff like Hearthstone, where they're making money off that. Absolutely. Think of all the DLC and the packets of cards people are buying, and then you've got Heart of the Swarm, and then you've got the other one, the third part to the StarCraft 2 franchise coming out. Diablo 3 is doing well. It's getting an Ultimate Evil Edition release, and that's gonna sell well. I can't see why that isn't.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, you've got idiots like me double dipping, and I think that is going to do well. I mean, it didn't sell great on console. I mean, it did all right. It sold a couple of million, but I think it'll do better on next gen consoles because there's less out. And now that this is the definitive edition with the expansion pack, it's a better game altogether. I think it will do better on next-gen consoles. And what was it came out and said that it sold 20 million copies of Diablo. like as of like a
right.
month ago or 2 months ago. It's sold a shit ton. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
So yeah, and that's only going to get better with the Ultimate Evil edition.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is again on my list when I finally get PS.
Yeah, man. It's well, I'll tell you what. We haven't talked about it, but if you get the next PS4 update, you'll be able to remote play with me.
Well, hey, yeah, I've heard about that. It's yeah, because SharePlay, I can take over from your gameplay, or I can just watch you play in bursts of 60-minute sessions. Because
allegedly, not only can you take control of my screen, as in like basically like, oh, I'm stuck on this, Kash, can you do it for me? You can apparently you can basically act as like player 2, as if you were sitting in the same room and couch co-oping with me.
Oh, brilliant! All right.
I mean, maybe explain this a bit. So at Gamescom or soon after, I can't remember if it was announced at Gamescom or surrounding it, but Sony basically announced their next system update for the PS4. It's going to add a few things, but the primary one was that it's going to introduce the new feature of SharePlay, which is, for all intents and purposes, it's kind of like a slightly altered version of the Vita's remote play function. Whereas with your Vita remote play function, we talked about a bit earlier, where you pair up your Vita with your PS4 and you can basically remote into it and play on your PS4 from your Vita.
Yep.
This allows a friend to remote into your PS4 from his PS4, his or her PS4, sorry, not going to be discriminative, and basically either view, take control, or join you as if you were sitting playing the same game in the same room.
On the couch, basically. Yep.
Yeah, so say take Diablo, for example. Now, that's 4-player couch co-op, or online co-op, or a mixture of the two. So what would happen is if I was playing Diablo on my PS4 and you were playing it on yours, we'd basically be able to wander off from each other. We'll have our own screen, we'll have our own loot, but we're playing in the same game, fighting monsters and such. Now, what you could do is if you didn't own it, you could then share play it into my console. And you could act as if you were player 2 on my console. So the only difference would be that we'd have to share the same screen, would share loot, and would have to take turns looking at menu interfaces to gear up and such. I mean, that's just an example of how it works with Diablo. But I'm trying to think what else has couch co-op actually. I say Lego Marvel Heroes, quality game. I've been playing a little bit of that recently, and essentially it's cooperative. You can play 2-player cooperative, but it's only local. So what you can essentially do is remote into mine, play 2-player with me as if you were sitting next to me in the same room.
Yep.
But as you mentioned before there, Kash, that it's got a 60-minute limit on it, which seems slightly odd.
I don't know. I can only assume Sony's way of making sure that people are still buying games, so they're not kind of left to infinite time. Because the other thing I heard was as well, potentially, if I'm dialing into a game that you've got and I haven't, you could fuck off to work and I could just stay there, be playing it all day.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, when I heard the 60-minute limit, I was thinking, well, that's just shit. It puts a damper on the whole thing. But they then explained, look, it's not 60-minute limit. It's basically a 60-minute session. And then it says, look, you've used 60 minutes, you need to reinitiate your session to carry on. It's basically as a means of, exactly as you say, not letting people lend out their the PS4s on loan to people via remote connection.
Yeah, you could get a franchise go, you could say, right, give me a $5, you can have it on Mondays, you can have it Tuesdays. And
you could, yeah, like time sharing it.
Yep.
It's I can see why they've done it. Maybe, I think if with enough time and enough complaints, it'll maybe be up to, say, 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
Because now seems like a short time, especially for something where you could sit, again, take Diablo, you can sit for fucking days on that thing.
I imagine they'll change it just depending on feedback and how people are using it. I imagine they'll change it. I mean, I just like it for the idea that, if you get stuck on something, you just get a mate to come and help you out. I can't remember the number of times that people ask me to kind of help them out on different games and stuff, and it's just just dial in and do it for them and just let them carry on and stuff.
It's a cool feature, and to be fair, this was something that was mentioned during the initial announcement.
Yep. And hasn't kind of come to fruition till now.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of, again, it's not something we'll talk about tonight, but we've been mentioned before that both consoles seem kind of rushed to beat each other out.
Yep.
So there's a lot of features. Like the one, after this comes out, the one feature I really want is suspended play. So basically, you've got the Vita, you can basically lock that like a smartphone and then pick up wherever you left off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
that feature was touted on the PS4, and it's still not there. You can put your PS4 into standby mode, but you've still got to start the game up from scratch when you come in.
There's no kind of soft turn off.
Yeah, now that's the last thing I really, really want. I'm not really bothered about the media stuff, because while I understand a lot of people do want it, my PS4 sits next to my PC in an office, so it doesn't really get used for media much. So I want gaming features, and that's the last one I want. And I think it'd be fantastic to have a suspend and play feature.
I think it'd be good to have. I think it'd be really good to have. So you'd have to worry about checkpoints anymore. That's the thing of a pass. You just put into suspension, and then
and that's exactly how I operate my Vita. I don't really save things. I tend to say, right then, this is the game I'm playing now. I'll open it up and keep it running.
Yeah.
And when I'm not using my Vita, I'll put it on charge so it doesn't die.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think I've turned my Vita off in months.
I never do.
It's just there's no need. You just put it in suspension, stick it on charge, off you go.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's a smartphone that takes up the phone functionality and gives you games.
Yeah, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
What more can you ask for in a phone?
Yeah, no one can bother you while you're playing games.
It's got Skype if you want to ring someone, there you go.
Yeah, it has actually, isn't it? Yeah, and YouTube, you know.
Yeah, even better. Facebook and Twitter.
Has it got Twitter? I knew it had Facebook.
I don't know. I'll have to check. I'm sure you could probably tweet somehow on there.
Fantastic. I suppose through the web browser.
Yep. Even there you go. Yeah, Twitter.
Great. So yeah, I mean, actually, talking about the Vita, one thing that kind of pissed me off is that the Vita seems to have been forgotten about.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It's almost like a tool for the PS4 now. It's not like its own little thing.
I suppose like a kind of like, hey, buy the Vita and play your PS4 on it. Yeah,
I suppose Sony have come to understanding that it'll never beat the DS. It'll never be on par with the 3DS. And it's maybe their way of kind of, not spending too much money to get kind of as much out of it. But it's still a decent bit of a kit, actually. I mean, I
love my Vita. Way more than I ever thought I would.
I look forward to PS Plus days and can buy shit. I've still bought games on it. I mean, not all my games are kind of completely free on the Vita. I've generally bought games, stuff that I want to play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one thing that did piss me off, other than the fact that no games were announced, and the Vita was pretty much forgotten about, is the fact that one of its kind of cutest, best games, one of its most unique games in Tearaway, is now coming to the PS4.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So, I mean, great. More people get to play it, and it might make a franchise out of it, because I love that game so much. It's so cute. But at the same time, it's like, so now the Vita doesn't even have that as a franchise.
Yeah,
it's gone off to PS4. It gets shafted a bit more, but I mean, it's not a bad thing. I love Tearaway, and I'm certainly not going to buy that at full price because I can't justify it. But Tearaway Unfolded, the PS4 version, is something I certainly look forward to. I might pick up on sale or something.
Yeah, look forward to review.
It's such a cute little game.
Yeah.
The Vita kind of got forgotten about, which is a shame. But I was talking to somebody else who got a Vita recently, and we were kind of talking like, there's no major games coming out on the Vita, but at the same time, I'm quite happy for it to be like an indie machine.
Yeah.
Because there's so many cross-buy indies coming out that I'm more than happy just to let that tick by, because a lot of indie games are actually better suited to be played on the Vita. I
mean, I don't have a PS4, but I've got all the PS4 stuff that's come on the PS Plus so far, and quite a few of them have the cross-buy, and I've played those on the Vita, and I'm really happy with them. They play really well, and I agree. I'm quite happy for it to be like a Hotline Miami.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Hotline Miami, we've got Fez was one. It came out on the PS4 and Vita at the same time, and PS3 actually as well. And bought that cross-buy across all of them. And you know what? I've started it up on the PS4 and then closed it down and started playing on my Vita. It's much nicer playing on the Vita. I don't know why, it just feels nice. I prefer it.
Yeah.
And I think Rogue Legacy came out this week or last week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on Vita, and I kind of want to get that as well. But that's cross-buy, but I'll probably play it more on my Vita than anything else.
Guacamelee as well.
Guacamelee, yeah, I actually platinumed that on the Vita.
Fucking loved it. Guacamelee.
Did I tell you I bought the Super Championship Turbo Edition on the PS4?
I think you said you're going to buy it. Is it good?
I barely played it. Like if you own the kind of PS3 Vita version, you got it like for £2.50, £3. So I was thinking, you know what, I like this game. I'm gonna support it. And I think I've played to the point where you get your mask and start the game properly.
Oh, bloody hell.
And then, I think I got it just before I went away on a business trip, so I didn't have a chance to sit down, and I just never caught back up with it.
Could have played on your Vita, basically. Oof.
I might as well have, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame, actually, because you can't get the Super Championship Turbo Edition on the Vita.
Ah, it's a shame.
So I can't get all the extra shit, otherwise I probably would have played it.
We are getting the Minecraft, though, as we mentioned before.
Yeah. Which, again... Is it cross-buy, or is it just discounted cross-buy?
I don't think it's cross-buy. I don't think I've read anywhere that it's cross-buy.
I don't think it's cross-buy from the PS3 version, but at the same time, I think if you own the PS3 version, you get the PS4 and Vita versions cheap.
Yeah, you get an upgrade price.
Which, there's some deals on the PS3 version going about at the moment, which make it very tempting. Just to buy the kind of PS4 version.
Yeah.
Just to kind of
upgrade it, complete the library.
So you get the PS3, to upgrade it and get a steep discount. Because I can imagine, if there's certainly a few of us digging about on the PS4, I can imagine Minecraft might be something that we could do it on.
It's escaped me, but if there's enough people playing it, I might just join in, and I might kind of fall in love with it. And
let's face it, it's a far more complete game than it was when I last played it.
Yeah, true. I suppose you'll find something new and it'd be great to get back into.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. So Vita's been a bit ignored, but never mind. So shit, yeah. We've been talking for quite a while. I think we've got through most of the news I've had. I don't think I've got much else to say. How about you?
No, I think the other thing I was going to mention was the updates, the releases to the firmware, but you've done that, so I'm all talked out. I think that's it. It's been nice.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when we leave it too long. We end up talking for 2 hours. Now, I think we'll be back in a couple of weeks. I always say that. But
yeah, we'll see in about 2 months then.
Yeah, see you in probably 6 more. I think the general idea is we're back in 2-3 weeks to do another show, and hopefully by then Simon will have finished watching Captain America, and he can come back and join us.
Brilliant.
But until then, of course, if you want more screenhog.co.uk, you can always head to the website, or you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course YouTube. So please like, subscribe, and follow us on all those various services. As I say, we're back in a few weeds, so you can also excuse me, I can't even speak. You can also subscribe to us for podcasts on iTunes, or indeed just directly to the RSS feed. So go ahead and do that if you want more. Until then, this has been the Pixel Shack for August 2014. I'm Ben, and I've got Kash with me.
Hello. Bye-bye.
And thanks for listening.